Linda Roberts is in this first video talking to a man she was dating. She wanted to tell him a secret she'd been keeping for 4 years. So she starts off by saying to him, "You don't know the pain I go through over what happened with my father. I have dreams that my father is in the room and it scares me." Then he says, "Wait a minute, I don't get this. You told me you loved your father so much. If he comes back to you in your room in a dream, why are you scared?" Her answer is, "I can't take it anymore. I'm going to tell you. I killed my father." Then after these comments is when he takes out his phone and starts recording. There are several videos in this series, and they're a little long, so they'll be released over the next few days. And with that, let's get on with the video.
To put like 6 of them in a little bit, because he had a drink every night anyway.
Who had a drink every night?
My dad. I said, just put them in a little bit of alcohol, 6, 7 of them, and stir them up, because he was waiting for a drink.
A beverage, alcohol?
Yeah, vodka. So, what does she do? She makes a drink this big.
Mary Beth?
Yes. Instead of making a little drink, she makes a big drink. Because the 7 halcyon, I think it was halcyon that he was taking, which are very strong, would have been plenty enough to just let him go to sleep and sleep peacefully. So she makes a drink this big. Well, he can't drink a drink this big. So I looked at her and I said, "You fucked up." I said, so she already handed him the drink. He takes about 4 swigs of it, 5. And in about 15 minutes, his hands started shaking. He was dropping his prayers that he was saying, his holy cards. But I knew he didn't have enough in his system.
Enough what?
Of the halcyon.
What is halcyon?
Halcyon's a sleeping pill. It's strong. It's the strongest you can take.
Wait a minute. Your father was taking halcyon on his own even though he's losing his mind?
No, the doctor was giving it to him. He was prescribing it to him.
To your father?
Yes.
But your father was overusing the halcyon?
He told the doctor, "I'm going to take what it takes to put me to sleep at night."
And his doctor said, "Okay, do what you got to do"?
Yeah. He's basically my
And then since you and Mary Beth knew that he was overtaking it, you thought that would be the way, because it wouldn't be suspected that you gave him the halcyon because he was overdosing himself.
Right.
Okay. So that was your plan. So you would dissolve 7 halcyons in the alcohol.
But instead of putting 2 shots in a cup of vodka, she fills the whole thing up with soda and all this other stuff.
Right, made like a real drink.
Yeah, and she hands it to him. So he took enough to knock him for a loop, really knock him for a loop. But this is very hard for me, Anthony.
I know.
I've never told anybody this.
I guess not.
And obviously,
I mean,
I would deny it if you ever told anybody.
Why would I tell somebody? What good is it going to do? You said the body's cremated.
Yes, it's cremated.
Your father's cremated.
We've already been through an investigation. The police.
Who investigated?
The police were there.
The police of where?
Well, so let me tell you. He lay down on the couch.
Wait, this was 7 years ago?
4.
4 years ago?
Yeah.
You killed your father 4 years ago.
Do you have to say it like that?
Well, but
and don't just say it to me, because it was my sister too.
And Mary Beth.
Correct. We euthanized him. We didn't kill him.
Well, euthanasia is not legal.
Well, it is, because hospice does it all the time. They give you the lethal dose of morphine. I've seen it. I've done it myself.
So you think that if you take it upon yourself that your father is suffering and no medical, but he was at home, he wasn't taken to the hospital, you think it's upon your... Look, I'm not trying to give you a hard time, but did you really think it was upon yourself to decide whether he should be euthanized? I mean, they arrested that Jack Kevorkian guy.
He didn't want to go to the place that this beautiful place that he was going to go live in. Have his own little apartment.
He didn't want to go.
He didn't want. He refused to go.
But you told me, I asked you in the beginning of this if he asked for euthanasia, and you said no.
Well, in his will, he had a DNR, but he didn't. You don't ask for euthanasia.
Well, you do if you want it. That's why they bring in that Jack Kevorkian guy to help them. But what I'm trying to say is, the very first thing I asked you when this conversation started is like, you euthanized your father. You said yes. And I said, did he ask for euthanasia? And you said, no.
We made the decision, okay?
Right, you and Mary Beth made the decision.
Yes.
Your sister and you decided that euthanasia was the best thing for him?
Yes, because medically wise, I knew with a big giant mass in his lung that he had maybe months to live, and he had lost his mind. Maybe it was wrong. Why do you think I battle every day with it? So anyway, he went to sleep.
Okay.
We thought he was
dead. And he wasn't.
He opened his eyes.
He opened his
And
eyes.
he looked at us.
He looked at you.
And I said, now what do we do?
You asked her now what to do?
I said, what do we do now?
So then what?
I don't know if I can even tell the rest of it.
You put a pillow over his face.
Yeah, we did. Not a pillow, but we did. And his breathing, yes.
By pinching his nose? Did you pinch your father's nose? How did you do it?
Can't talk anymore.
What do you mean you can't talk? You already told me. This is the only way to get it off your chest. You've never told anybody. You might as well finish. So I know, and you know, that the truth has been told. Did you pinch his nose and hold his mouth? I mean, that's very personal. That's probably why you're having problems right now, mental problems. Which you do, by the way. You realize you can't tell a therapist this, right?
No, I can't tell a therapist, and we can't tell anybody.
Can't tell anybody.
Well, anyway, there's no proof of it. He's cremated, he's gone. These ashes, there's no evidence.
There's evidence if you admitted it, if you walked into the police and admitted you did that, there would be evidence. What if she does? What if she goes crazy? Your sister, Mary Beth, is crazy. What if she goes crazy one day and walks in and admits it?
I just deny it.
You would just deny it. And you think that
stand there and admit that I killed my father? Not me, but we did.
Who pinched his nose?
She did.
And did you hold his mouth?
I put a washcloth in it.
You put a washcloth in his mouth?
Mm-hmm.
How can you live with yourself?
It's hard, Anthony. It's very hard.
But he was alive and you ended his life.
I know I did.
We
did.
Did you guys discuss money before you did this? How you could inherit?
No.
It had nothing to do with money?
Nothing to do with money. It had to
Are
do
you
with
sure?
what we were living with. What we saw, and the doctor had just told me, your father has a massive cancerous, his whole lung is full of cancer. He may have 2 months left to live.
But there's been miracles in the past.
Okay, so what do you want me to do now? Go confess to the police?
I didn't say to do that. Only you know what will set you free.
Nothing will set me free.
You can't decide that a miracle of modern medicine couldn't have saved him and cleared his cancer out.
Never. Never in a million years.
You can't decide that.
The doctor said it. He told me
Fuck
your
the doctor.
father's dying.
But he's not dead. You can't end his life. You know this. You know you can't end a life. You know it's murder.
Yes, I do.
That's murder. I look at you, little innocent you, and you've actually murdered a person in this world, and your own father to boot. I've never murdered a person, and I'm dangerous. I'm a dangerous individual. People start fights with me, and I don't just wrestle with them. I pound them into oblivion, and I've never murdered anybody. I can't believe it. I've even wanted to in the past. I've even
So
thought...
then why do you think, now what are you going to do?
What do you mean?
That I've told you.
I can't believe that you murdered.
Not me. Me and my sister.
I can't believe
Don't
that
put
either...
it just on me. We made the decision together as a pact.
She's a dumbass. You're the ringleader. You know that. The first person to think, let's just euthanize him, was you. You know that. And she agreed.
No, it really wasn't.
And she agreed.
No, that's not true.
Oh, you both said it at the same time. You went
Actually,
1, 2,
did.
3, let's euthanize.
We both decided at the same time because actually, you don't know my sister. My sister has a temper 10 times worse than I do. You don't know my heart.
But why did she have a temper? Why was this ending his life anything to do with a temper? She was mad at him?
Yes, they had terrible arguments because he didn't want to go into Brookfield.
So she was mad at him when she murdered him.
Yeah, she was mad at him.
So that really is
I
murder.
talked to the doctor and I knew he was dying, but him and her had been fighting since Shirley died.
Who's Shirley?
The person he was with 20 years.
Shirley Tomaselli?
No, Shirley Shannon. He never married
Shirley
her.
Shannon?
He never married her.
Shirley Shannon?
Mm-hmm.
She never took his name?
They're not married.
Okay, so
He lived with her for 20 years.
but here's the thing. You knew that he was going to die. Well, you say you knew he was going to die, but you don't really know. You heard from a doctor that he was going to die. Did you ever hear of a misdiagnosis? Did you ever hear that? Please tell me you've been in the medical profession. Have you ever heard of a doctor amputating the wrong leg?
Yeah.
Have you ever heard him saying, "I'm sorry to tell you this, your father's got a..."
What are you trying to do? Make me feel, what do you want me
I'm
to
just
do?
saying, I'm pissed off. I'm pissed off.
Wrong.
I'm pissed off that you murdered your own father. And you said he was the greatest guy ever.
He was. That's why we did it because we
No,
loved
you
him.
said Mary Beth was actually mad at him, so she was angry and she had a temper. She was happy to murder him for different reasons. True?
I wanted to put him out of his misery.
But she was mad at him. True?
Yeah, she was mad at him.
So it could be said that she did it with malice. You know what I mean? In a way. So maybe she's more to blame. Like she's mad and she's like, let's just kill him. I'm sick of his ass.
We didn't use the word kill.
Let's
It was
euthanize
never-
him.
We used the word put him out of his misery.
But she was mad at him. You just admitted it. You said, you don't know my sister. She's got a temper 10 times mine. And they were fighting and she was happy to pinch his nose.
I don't know if she was happy, but at the time, that was the only thing we could do at this point. See, you don't know, if this ever got out and my family found out.
I'm not telling your family. What the fuck is that going to do? It's not going to bring him back.
Bring them back? Are you kidding me?
Right.
They would probably try to put us in jail.
Well, they will put you in jail for murder. I don't even think there's a statute of limitations on murder. And forget about a cremated body. That's not going to matter. If Mary Beth tells them she pinched his nose and you put a rag in his mouth, that's enough.
Well, we're not going to say that. So now you can hate me even more.
I don't hate you. I pity you. How can you? I could never. I just couldn't imagine. Like
Well, you didn't see my father.
Okay, so you saw him and he was, but it's not your place. I still can't get over it. And you're saying that Mary Beth had a mean streak in her, and I do see that in her. So and whoever mentioned about the doctor saying there's a mass and he might die, again, it could have been a misdiagnosis though. Call you up. Guess what? We found him.
It wasn't because he couldn't breathe.
I'm saying, what if the doctor saw a mass and then it was the wrong film? You didn't see it.
He already had cancer. It spread to the
I'm
other
just saying there was a Listen, why are you arguing? What if there was a misdiagnosis?
There wasn't.
But what if there was? What if there was? Accidents happen, right? I said somebody cuts off the wrong leg. What if they said, "Oh, he calls you back. It's the wrong film. I'm looking
What
at
are
some."
you trying to make me do and say to you?
I'm not trying to
I
make.
have to live with this every day of my life.
But Okay, I'm just saying if it was a misdiagnosis and they looked at the wrong film and they were going to call you back the next day and say, your father's actually, it's not metastasizing, it's actually getting better. He's not breathing for another reason. Just bring him into the hospital and we'll fix him. But it's too late because you put a rag in his mouth. Do you see what I'm saying? Please tell me you see what I'm saying.
I see what you're saying.
Okay, so you still murdered him because he could have went in for medical treatment. You're not allowed to do that.
He had lost his mind.
You don't know that. He could have got his mind back.
How?
It's not
he
your.
He had Alzheimer's, dementia. They were going to put him in the.
But he's a human.
In a locked
you can't end a living being's life.
I see it every day. Hospice ends living life. They kill people.
No, they don't.
They give them a lethal dose of morphine. What are you telling me?
Who says they can do that?
They do it.
On purpose to murder them.
Absolutely.
But that's against the law too, correct?
They do it.
But is it against the law?
It's against the law and they do it.
You've seen hospice do that.
I have seen hospice do it.
When you were working for this Dr. Mazer?
Yeah. They overdose you with morphine. That's it. It's ended. You're dead.
And they say he died for another reason? They let the morphine wear off?
No, the morphine kills him, puts him into respiratory arrest.
But then when they do an autopsy, they just say the morphine is worn off?
They give you're in so much pain with cancer or whatever is killing you. You are asking for the biggest dose you can get. I want more morphine.
Okay.
And they give it to you and they kill you.
Okay, whatever. Getting back to Mary Beth, I think when you mentioned he's sick, she probably said, let's kill him because she was mad at him anyway. Okay, let's end his misery. But she was doing it out of malice because you just told me she was so mad at him from arguing. True?
They argued a lot.
So true. There was some malice involved in what she did. So she's more to blame.
If I had to say yes, there was malice involved because they were having horrible arguments. So she left for a few days and I was there by myself with my niece.
She had no qualms. When you said who first said let's
I don't remember who exactly first said let's do it, but we were laying in bed together.
Where the hell was this? Where did you guys live?
We were at my dad's house.
Where is that?
In Palm Harbor.
Right here?
Yeah.
In Palm Harbor, Florida.
Yes, this was only 4 years ago. My dad has lived here 64 years.
Where did you guys live in Palm Harbor?
My father, we went and stayed with him.
Where was his house?
He had a villa in Wexford West.
What?
Wexford West.
Wexford West?
Wexford. Now what are you doing? Planning on doing something to me?
What do you mean?
Because now you have me afraid that I knew I shouldn't have told you.
No,
And my sister has asked me, did you tell Anthony about Dad? I said, no, I have not.
Why is she scared?
Because she doesn't trust you.
Well, who did she tell?
Nobody. And I've told nobody.
In this whole lifetime, nobody knows, just you and her, and now me. Listen, I was raised Catholic. You were too, weren't you?
What do you think?
Yes, I do.
I know about mortal sins, yes.
You might go to hell. You actually might go to hell. I don't know how to undo that. You killed a person, and it was your father. That's actually specifically called out in the Bible, in the commandments. Killing your own father. There might not be anything worse. This person sired you. You wouldn't be here. You might go to hell.
I do. What am I going to do?
What are you going to do? You're going to suffer?
I ask for forgiveness every day.
It doesn't work that way.
It says in the Bible, God forgives who ask.
Really? For murder?
It doesn't specifically say.
Next, you're going to tell me that John the Baptist was a murderer, and then he got recruited.
Anthony, what? So you pulled it out of me, and I told you.
Pulled it out of you? You didn't.
Why I am so.
How did I pull it out of you? I asked you what the hell's wrong with you, And you started saying, there's some secret I've been keeping that I've never told anybody, so I asked you. I said, tell me. How's that pulling it out? You were willing to talk. Were you not? Were you not?
I told you out of my free will, yes, but I would deny it.
Well, I'm not asking you to say it to anybody else. If you ever tell anybody else, you'll definitely go to prison. And then you'll go to hell.
I still may. You may go be pissed at me and tell someone anyway.
I'm not going to tell anybody, and if I do, they can. That's way far disconnected from your own admission. I asked you to tell me what your secret was, and you said, let me begin by telling you, and I'm telling you of my own free will. I said, tell me, it'll set you free. So you were not coerced to make this admission.
Do you think it set me free?
Do you feel better?
I'll never feel better.
You stuffed a fucking rag in your father's mouth so he couldn't breathe, and your sister held his nose. I don't think there's anything worse. And I thought I was somebody who could, like I said, possibly all the fighting I used to do or whatever, I thought I could maybe kill somebody someday. But
I don't look at it as killing him.
why not? He was breathing, and then by your hand, he stopped breathing. With a rag in his mouth. Look at these forensic files shows that I watch all the time I was telling you about. That's how...
We were thoroughly investigated because the hospice was not involved. The police were there for... They laid my father on the floor. He was there for 10 hours till they investigated.
But you told me, the one thing you did tell me about your father is that you tried to give your father CPR, and that's the one... See, that's a lie. Now you have to admit that's a lie. You're like, I was giving my... Yes.
It's a lie.
It's a lie.
I knew he was dead.
You knew he was dead. But you said that the paramedics...
I knew he was dead because he had...
Because you killed him.
Because he had peed his pants. And I knew he was... Yes, I knew he was dead.
But you did it for more of a show. When the paramedics came in, you were doing chest compressions. Admit it.
Admit it. I admit it.
Because then because you told me early on when I first met you, you're like, this terrible thing happened. I had to give my own father chest compressions, and I couldn't get off of him because I just wouldn't accept that he wasn't dead.
At that point, it is true. I was probably in my mind trying to revive him.
No, you weren't. You knew he was dead.
I knew he was dead, but I thought maybe I could breathe him back to life. When the paramedics... I know, I'm a terrible person, so what do you want me to do?
You called the paramedics, and when you called them, they came, and that's when you started chest compressions.
No, I started him immediately when I walked over to him because I thought maybe he didn't die.
Oh, really? So the paramedics got there, and you were still doing chest compressions. They had to pull you off, you said.
Yes.
But just 2 seconds ago, you said you admit it. I said you were doing chest compressions just for show. I admit it, and you said yes, I admit it.
What is this, judge and jury now?
But you admitted it 2 seconds ago. You said I admit it. You knew he was dead. You were just doing that for show. More than trying to save him because you knew he was dead. You're not stupid. You're not stupid. But doing the chest compressions when the paramedics walked in was a nice touch to make sure that they thought you were really trying to revive him.
Thanks, Anthony.
But is it true? It was a nice touch, though, right? You know better. It was a little bit show, right? Because you knew he was dead. Before the paramedics got in there and pulled you off, like you said they pulled you off. But you knew he was dead. You knew what you were doing wasn't going to revive him. True?
True.
This is bad. It was only 4 years ago. Mary Beth could tell on you. And I don't know anything about the law, but the statute of limitations I always heard was 7 years.
She could tell on me. She was involved in it. She did it.
I always heard the statute of limitations for crimes was 7 years, but I think murder is there's no statute.
So are you going to call the police on me?
I didn't say that.
You think I'm a terrible person?
I think you're a confused and deranged person.
And my sister is too, obviously.
I think she has mental issues that go beyond yours. I think it's deranged that you killed your father with a rag.
Well,
I've never met anybody that murdered anybody that admitted it. I'm kind of shocked to be
you
sitting.
don't think there's people? We didn't murder him. We euthanized him.
Oh, my God. You're a smart lady. You're going to get into semantics? See, now that scares me that you have a gun. Like you murder. You're a murderer.
No, I would never murder anybody.
You used to keep that gun sitting next to your bed saying Ted was going to come after you.
I would never hurt anybody.
But you killed your father. Why can't you use the word kill? He was alive, and then at your hand, he was dead. Say, I killed my father. Say it. Say it.
No, I'm not going to say it because I don't feel that's what we did to him. I feel like we put him out of his misery.
Well, maybe as a result of dying, he stopped suffering. But isn't that called murder? Isn't it called murder when you end a person's life? It's a homicide. You know when a cop shoots a suspect, it's a homicide and he gets suspended and they investigate a homicide. It's a homicide. Now they find out if it's justified. Was what you did called homicide?
Yes, but I feel it was justified.
Stop it. Was it homicide?
Yes.
Okay, it was homicide. Then you have to feel what's justified. The cop shooting the bank robber, they investigate it, they find out it was justified. You doing it to your father because he had a mask, they may not find out that that's justified. They may not think that's justified. You could go to the fucking electric chair here or whatever they do here in Florida. The lethal injection. I don't know. Like Ted Bundy. They still have that here in this state. Doesn't matter how old you
Trying
are.
to scare me.
You should be scared. You should be. I don't know how you live with that every day. I really don't.
It's very hard.
I can't believe it. And Mary Beth, and she was mad at him at the time. To think of you two over that old man who couldn't move and her saying, yeah, let's do it. I'm mad at him anyway.
No, we did not say that.
But she was quick to do it because you told me she has a mean streak in her and you said you don't know her temper. She did it with malice. She might be more to blame than you. There was malice in her heart to end her own father's life. True?
Possibly.
Possibly. She was mad at him. She had told you she's mad at him. She had no problem participating.
Well, they were having screaming matches.
She had no problem participating in the euthanasia. True?
True.
Because she was mad at him. You might have had a motive that you really cared about his suffering. She might have had a little bit of that, but she had no problem saying, let's get rid of this old bastard. He just pisses me off. True?
I don't know if I can say that. I just know that they were arguing terribly.
Well,
my father was arguing with her awfully.
20 minutes ago, you told me, you don't know my sister. She participated in this. She was so mad at him.
My sister has a very bad temper that you don't know about.
Okay, but that's part of the reason that she participated. True?
I don't know her reasons. I just know my reasons. My father was suffering.
But if you had to get
Alzheimer's, and he was dying of cancer. He couldn't breathe.
Right, but she was not as
He was
concerned.
going to be going through torture and in the hospital, and they were going to do surgery and cut him open, and he was going to die probably within weeks.
Maybe, but that's not your call. But your sister was.
I know it's not my call.
But your sister was angry at him, right?
Yes, they had been fighting every day.
So there's a possible motive there. True?
Who am I to judge? How am I to judge?
You're smart, but you're smart. Do you believe that your sister possibly had a different motive? That she was mad? That helped her make the call to say, yeah, let's do it?
I don't know.
What do you think?
I don't know.
What do you think?
I don't know what to say to that.
20 minutes ago
I
you
can
said...
only tell you that they were arguing terribly, and my dad was saying terrible things to her, and she was saying terrible things back to him.
So when you're mad at somebody and there's malice and you don't mind participating in the murder, euthanasia, whatever you want to call it, homicide, don't you feel that there's a motive of malice? I don't want you to sound like a stupid person right now. Don't you agree?
My sister and I have been through so much.
Do you agree that there's a motive of, when there's malice, that's another motive?
Right now, she hates me to death.
Isn't that a motive, though? That she was mad? Don't you think she didn't mind pinching his nose shut while he didn't breathe a little bit and got a little bit of relief, thinking he will never yell at her again? He's old anyway, and maybe she loved him for his whole life, but now he's just a pain in the ass. She didn't mind pinching his nose shut?
I don't know. How can I say that, Anthony? I can only tell you what I observed before his death.
You observed that he was sick, he wasn't breathing, but you never took him to the hospital. She was mad that he had been yelling at her, right?
He did go to the doctor. He had the chest x-ray. And the doctor called me and told me, because I was his power of attorney.
Well...
So what do you want me to do? Go turn myself in and go to jail?
What do you think that would help you?
No, it would not help me.
Why? You'd be put on death row.
I know. We both would.
Do you think you deserve that?
No.
Why?
Because I feel I put my father out of the misery that he was going through and going to go through even worse.
Okay. This is more than I can even absorb. I've never been in the presence... I might have been in the presence of a murderer, but I've never been in the presence of a murderer that told me they were a murderer. This isn't brand new for me, and I'm 53 years old, and you're 62 or 3. You're 62 still?
1.
Oh, excuse me. It's terrible. It certainly is terrible.
It's terrible, I know. So what are you going to do?
What do you mean, what am I going to do? What can I do? You just said you would deny it. I know that I would never trust you or Mary Beth with anything delicate because you've killed your own father. I don't think, if you did that only 4 years ago, and this wasn't fucking 30 years ago. This was 4 years ago. In 2000.
30 years ago, he would have been young.
He was calling you your mother's name and he was 87 years old?
Yes, he had Alzheimer's.
Was his name Anthony?
Yes.
His name was Anthony as well?
Yes.
Anthony Tomaselli?
Yes.
Your father's name was Anthony Tomaselli?
Yes, Anthony Joseph.
And he was 87 4 years ago? He would have been 91 now? And this happened right here in Palm Harbor, Florida. Unbelievable. This is one of those things you see on the forensic files. They remake the whole murder. They don't care that they thought there was a motive or not. They don't care about your motive. They care about solving crimes of who ends people's lives. It's terrible.
I'm a terrible person. Is
I
that what you're telling me?
I don't know. I mean, I'm always one wearing the black cowboy hat, but I've never murdered anybody, and I never thought I could come close to it unless they were hurting me or my family. I think I could probably do it to protect, but never to end a life because I thought it was my right.
Well, you didn't work in the medical profession for 30 years. And
Fuck that, Linda. That doesn't give you...
Begging you to help them die.
That's not your place. You're not God. You're not judge, jury, and executioner or God. You know that, right? That's why you fear hell right now. True? Yes. Because you know people aren't supposed to do that. End other people's lives.
But do I have a choice when my life ends, where I'm going? No.
No,
I don't.
you don't.
How many times I've asked for forgiveness for it?
No.
Many.
Shit. I think I got a dentist. What's today's date?
I don't know, I can't see without my
Approximately.
12th.
It's the 12th of February? Wait a minute. What month are we in?
February. Well, my sister's birthday was Sunday the 10th, 11th, 12th.
Well, today's Tuesday?
Yes.
The 12th of February? I'm not even writing 2019 yet. Are you able to write 2019? I'm messing it up and everything. Like if today's February 12th, 2019, I put February 12th, 2018. I can't stop doing it. It's just a habit.
Okay, so now have I ended enough of our relationship for you?
I think that what you did was reprehensible, and I just can't imagine you living with yourself.
Thank you all for watching, everybody, and until next time, take care.